Bu daha önce kimse içmemişti değil mi? Merhabalar. Son 8 senedir 3-4 kişiden fazla bir gruba Türkçe konuşmadığım için izninizle bundan sonrasını konuşmanın İngilizce yapacağım. Now, I'm very proud to be here. I'm very proud as to what we have seen already. But I'm very much disturbed by this time of us ticking back. So I want to push this away from myself and turn it to you. Okay. So you know how much time I have. So you might as well make the most of it while listening to me. Now, reset is an incredible thing, and I'm not here because my name resembles the word reset. My name is Eset, by the way. But I'm here because a quote that I have read in a book, and in an infamous book for the Muslim world, one of Salman Rushdie's books, a quote, the opening quote, really changed my life. It says, "To be born again, first you have to die." I think there can't be many more quotes that would explain the idea of reset better than this. Now, the previous speech, which is going to be very hard to follow, talked about how to change the world, how we can better our worlds. And I want to tell you about how we can do this. But I would suggest that since we are talking about resetting, in order to shape and recreate anything in life, we have to first forget the former, as we have been talking about the whole day today. But while doing this, I want to invite everybody to entertain the idea of stepping outside of your comfort zone, outside of your compounds, and the indifference and the numbness that's related to everyday comforts and everyday living spaces, such as your homes, your streets, your cities, that you have been working so hard to make yours, and that we all have been working so hard to make ours. Now, I say this because in order for us to help those disadvantaged people, we have to first understand them. We cannot help people we don't understand. We cannot help people by just sitting at a beautiful auditorium and listening to how to better life and how to better life for those people that make us sleep less than comfortably at night. Now, what agency or right do I, as a 26-year-old with a heavy accent, have to be here in front of you and talk to you about how to better your world? Well, it's not related to my hair, although I would very much like that, but it's just because of what's so-called my unique life story and the exemplary way I have brought myself here. Now, I was born in a small city, in a small village of Kars called Çatak, and then I went to live in orphanages from the age of 8 onwards. Later on, I made it to Turkish Soul School for Talented and Gifted Kids, TEDxReset Lisesi, and then I graduated from Yale University recently with a double major and distinctions. Now, I want to talk to you about 3 people today: Muhammad, Ömer, and myself. Muhammad and I grew up in the same village, Kars Çatak, that still to this day has no stable water, no clean water to drink, but many satellite dishes and 3G cell phones. Ömer is my first friend. He was one of my best friends in an orphanage that I lived in Bitlis, and he's one of the people who have changed my life most lastingly. Now, Muhammad and I, we grew up in this village that has around 80 houses, and that didn't have much to inspire people as to who they are going to be, especially kids. Now, I believe the most important things that are going to tell a kid or inspire a kid as to what they are going to be in life is the environment that surrounds them, right? You see, we are only limited by our imagination, yes, that's true, but what defines imagination? I believe it's the environment around us, society, the books that we read, the movies that we see, the TV that we watch. Now, this being 1980s, late 80s, there wasn't much as to TV. There was only TRT1, and on TRT1 there were such programs as Babası and A-Team and TRT National News. As for books, we had a very small village school, and there weren't many books. And even if there were many books, none of us were capable of reading because, it's Kars. So we weren't able to actually get our imagination be moved, be put in action by books or TV. What we did have was a society. And society in itself was not very much accommodating as to what we wanted to be or who we wanted to be, or it wouldn't give us an idea or enhance our imagination as to where we wanted to go. By the way, this is the house I was born in. Now, growing up, watching TV, watching Dallas, watching A-Team, I wanted to be one of the three things. I wanted to either be JR of Dallas. Does anyone know who this is? Or I was Mr. Theo of Team A. And then later, and in more lucky years, when we actually had a cartoon on TEDxReset, I wanted to become Donatello the Ninja Turtle. Now, to me, these were all things that were like inspired by things that I have seen around me. When I told my father that I wanted to be like Donatello, like I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle and a scientist at the same time, he told me that we were villagers, and that as impossible as it was for me to become a doctor or a lawyer or anything of the kind, it was equally impossible for me to become a Ninja Turtle who invents stuff. And by the way, since there was no ninja in my family that I could take as an example, apart from my ninja Nejati uncle, who we call Ninja, not because he had ninja powers, but I was really limited there. I had to think of something else to be. So when I went to my school and told my teacher, who, due to the OHAL, was a university graduate who was living in our village as a part of, and teaching in our village as a part of his army service. He told me that in order for us to invent, in order for us to become scientists, we had to first go to university, and that he reminded me that nobody in my village has ever been to university and high school. So that was a disappointing day, because Mohammed, my friend, he backed me by saying, and Mohammed always wanted to be a doctor after watching a movie on TV. Mohammed said, why can't he learn how to invent? Okay, he might not be able to become a Ninja Turtle, but there are ways for him to learn to invent. And then the teacher said, look, nobody has been to university unless you go to university, you cannot invent, which I don't agree with. Now, because we live in high plains, this is a yaina, a high plain, that my family lives 6 months of the year. It's a semi-nomadic culture, so my father tried his very best to remind me that I belong to this environment, I belong to here, that I was going to go here. So I might as well just start thinking as to how to be best at this. I have to look at my notes here. So a few years later in an orphanage, this is me as Ninja Turtle, as to how I saw myself. A few years at the orphanage, I met Ömer, and we were very curious. I mean, we were kids, we were curious. Ömer was hyperactive, he wanted to be a singer, actor, somebody famous. And since we were kids and we were curious about everything else and also hungry at all hours of the day, we started sneaking into the orphanage's cafeteria at night and eat chocolate that was reserved there for giving out to kids whenever an inspector came around. Now, we did this for a while, and we did steal that chocolate, and it did really taste good. But one day the orphanage headmaster called us to the 3rd floor of the building, and I will not forget this ever in my life. He asked us if we did eat it. We said no. So he grabbed us from our ankles, he opened the window to the 3rd floor of the building, and he suspended both of us. Until he said, either you actually admit to your guilt, or else I'm going to actually drop you. So I started crying, I started begging for mercy, and Ömer said, I did it. He took the whole blame on himself, and for the whole day he was in the headmaster's office being beaten. Now, I'm very sorry to tell you such vivid and disturbing stories, but I'm telling you this because life is not villain-free. Life is not doing bad intending people free, but it is at the same time good people. It's full of good people, no? And those people are people who are doing something to our future, something to those kids who could have become something else in life. Now, I also told you these stories because I'm not meant to be here. I wasn't meant to be here. I was meant to be somebody who would disturb you on the street. I was meant to be somebody who would be a villager. I was meant to be somebody who would not go far in life. What's Mohammed doing now? Mohammed is living in our village. Right now he has 6 kids, 2 sons and 4 daughters, and he's really hoping that one of them will one day become a doctor that he couldn't become. Ömer, the last time that I heard from him, Ömer wounded somebody over some drugs and is now in prison. So again, I wasn't meant to be here. I was meant to be like up there, I was meant to be an example as to how life would go back. That would be the case if everybody lived indifferently and carefree to their society. And not everybody does it, we all know. We all know there are great people, there are great human beings in life. Now, there's a quote that always reminds me as to why there aren't more what so-called success stories like mine. It said, well, son, I want to share something with you. The 3 little sentences that will get you through life. Number 1, cover for me. Number 2, oh God, oh, good idea, boss. And number 3, it was like that when I got here. Now, this is a quote by Homer, and not the Greek philosopher Homer, but rather Homer Simpson. And I think this is intrinsically what is wrong with why we cannot have more people, more Esets, more Mohammeds, more Umar standing here before a selected crowd and telling you as to how you can actually affect life, how you can save life. It is because it was like this when we got here, and most people just want to leave it like that. You know, like, I really wish that people took those Turkish bathroom signs to heart. We say, nasıl görmek istiyorsanız öyle bırakın. Like, the same holds true for this world. Nasıl görmek istiyorsanız öyle bırakın. Live however you want to see it. Now, I want to tell you about 3 people who have changed my life, who went out of their boxes, the boxes that surrounded them, who were carefree, who didn't say, it was like this when I got here, but instead said, what can I do? These 3 people, first being Hayrullah, my primary school teacher, who helped me through so much hardship in life to get me into my high school exams. Then Burak who helped me to win a scholarship and go outside of Turkey for the first time in my life, which enhanced my imagination and my world beyond belief. And thirdly, Cynthia Normaier, who upon my return from my year abroad as an exchange student, she helped me, and not only me, but 6 other people, although they didn't ask for her, she helped me plus 6 other people to make it into selected universities in the United States. Now, my teacher is of Kurdish descent, Burak is Turkish, and Cynthia is Armenian. No, sorry. Cynthia is Chinese American. This shows as to how goodness, how greatness, how charity, how affecting our world is not limited to one ethnicity, one background, one religion, one anything. Now, I have told you all of this because one of the most popular subject matters of this past decade is the dying out of our world, as we have seen in many TED talks. And it's the dying out of species, the extinction of species. But one species is never mentioned, and that's the genuinely good man, the genuinely charitable man who goes out of their way to change the world for the others. I have seen many people telling each other that they have been charitable in the sense that, you know, once a week or once a year actually, they go to a soup kitchen to help feed the poor. They paint the sidewalks and they believe that they have done a great good for the environment. Like this, the popular sense, 21st century of charity as a way of like starting a Facebook group for a cause has to stop, really. We have to have more people who are going out on the field. We have to have more people who go out on the field and like get in touch with people like myself, like Ömer, like Mohammed, people who might at any second go wrong, who might at any second go to somewhere that we don't desire to be. So, why am I telling you all of this? It is because I want to, whenever I tell people this, they're like, oh my God, you're so special, you have done it, you are so this, you are so that. And I know everybody wants to be special, no? Everybody wants in their life, like, just kick back and say, my mom was right, I am special. Well, my girlfriend is here, and I know I'm not running the danger of having her run out of the door when I say this, but I am not special. I am not an exception, but I'm an example. And not in the sense that you should like show to your kids saying you should be like that. No, I'm an example as to if you live, if you move, if you get out of your borders, of your current compounds, of your comfort zones, what you can do. I wasn't the brightest kid in that orphanage. I wasn't the brightest kid in my village. But some great people helped me to be here. And by the way, my next thing is I'm right now at the age of 26 working on a movie that has a very, very, very starful cast and a very high budget. So it's in your means to be able to help people to come here. It's in your means to like stop somebody from going to prison, stop somebody from having like 6, 7 kids and become a hunchback on the society. Or you can either like disregard it and like let some people become like that, or like help them, just genuinely help them to be somewhere like here and to become somebody like you. Now I know as a society, we tend to not take advice from people unless they have a huge white beard, and I think I can accommodate that. So, the next part of my conversation I'm going to do like this. If you really want to change your society, if you really want to change your personal life for the better, please, please, please, do not think that sending money to a charity of your choice is going to help. Yes, all these charities, they need money. By the way, I started an international organization called Develop Turkey that finds money for Turkish charities that are underfunded. So, I know this from experience. Money is not the solution to all problems, because there are places that your money cannot go. There are things that your money cannot touch, but your presence can. So, raise your hands. Who here has ever been to an orphanage? Come. Don't make me ask you which orphanage. Okay. More than enough people, but then again, this is the third difference, right? I would beg of you on behalf of my own people, these kids that could have gone to anywhere, but they went to where they are currently because nobody has helped them. I beg of you, please, next time you want to help somebody, next time you want to help a group, you want to help this and that, go and live with them. Get out of your normal way of going to house. Go to Tarlabaşı once in a while. I know it's a bad idea, and don't hold me accountable if something happens, but you never know what you are going to meet there, who you are going to meet there, and let alone how much you are going to help you. You never know how much they are going to help you as to what true charity and true happiness is, because what we need is more people who go out of their way, get out of their boxes, and help people become what they can be, realize their own potential. So we need more high class, we need more drugs, we need more Cynthias, so that lesser and lesser kids go to prison, lesser and lesser kids become a big problem for society at large.